If you're looking for a travel trailer for just the two of you, that is the ultimate in relaxation. This right here is definitely one of those. This is the 2026 Coleman Legacy 2950 RL. They've taken basically everything that's great about a rear living floor plan, and they have emphasized some features to make it even better. So with any good rear living, you're gonna have dual opposing slides, which is exactly what you have right here. The reason for that is it opens up enough space for a kitchen island. And you will see that they use a true solid surface countertop in this one. It's not going to be a thermoformed. It's not going to be a T-mold. You get an actual solid surface, which is going to be super durable. It also allows to undermount the stainless steel bowl. You get a high-rise pull-out faucet there, and you have some storage here in the front. Now, across the way on our campsite, you'll see seating for four, right? You have your freestanding dinette and chairs. And if you don't need the additional sleeping space of a dinette, which in this one you don't because you have the sofa, this I think is the better option. You'll also see the big windows here, and these do open, including the ones on the side of the slide box. Those do open up, which isn't always the case. A lot of times manufacturers will try to save a little money and put in non-opening windows. The other thing you will see here are the roller shades. The thing I like about this is that the window treatments are very simple. You don't have anything big and chunky on the side. You just have the top here, the roller shades. It works great, and you'll have those all the way throughout. You'll also notice that it's 6 foot tall. While yes, I am touching the top of the slide box here, I can actually fit underneath this without having to duck my head down. When I stand up, I don't have any worries about hitting the top of the slide. But that's because the ceiling height in here is 6 foot 10 inches. So you get nice big ceilings. So if you're a tall person, this is a great option for an RV as well. Now right here is going to be the theater seats. This of course is going to be the best seat in the house. Nothing super overly fancy about these, which I kind of like. A lot of people want like the power footrest and like the lights and massage, and that's all good and great. But if you're not at a space with shore power or you don't have a generator, your seats don't function. If you have power in your seats to have them come up and you don't have shore power, you can't recline. So there's something I really like about just having, the manual ones where it's nice and easy. There's still going to be wall huggers so I can sit back and relax here. I have plenty of cup holders and some additional storage for like a TV remote. And trust me, you're going to want to watch some TV in here. So if you take a look across, folks, that is a 65-inch TV. That is massive. That is something we very, very rarely see in a travel trailer, which again is why I say they take the elements of this rear living floor plan and they make it even better by emphasizing the big features like the TV here. But the theater seat isn't the only spot you can sit, because you also have the tri-fold sofa, and this does fold out into a bed. So if you have additional guests and you want them to stay the night, you do have a place that they can stay. Now on both sides, you'll see you have the end tables there with USB ports and electrical outlets to charge all your devices. Again, windows all the way around, and once again, the windows on the sides do open, of course, as well as the one on the back, and you have storage all the way across the top here. I do want to mention that underneath the entertainment center right here is going to be our multimedia center. That does have a few zones. We have speakers inside as well as outside. That's controlled by that unit. That is Bluetooth capable as well. So if you want to hook up your Apple Music or your Spotify account to it, you can do that. You also have a fireplace down underneath so that, not only does that look great, but it also is going to be electric space heater. It helps kind of take the chill off in this space on those cold evenings. Something else I really like, take a look at the depth of the storage here. You have huge storage in that entertainment center on both sides. That's something we rarely see. More often than not, it's very shallow. Not the case at all here. Coming a little bit further, we get into kind of the rest of the kitchen here. You have a little bit of additional prep space over to the side. You get a recessed 3-burner cooktop with a glass cover, so you can utilize this as prep space when you're not using the cooktop. When you do want to use it, of course, you just fold this up and back. You also see they've done a lot of things to maximize space, like put a knife block in back here. That way you don't have to have it on your counter or put it in your drawers. I think that was pretty smart. And behind the TV right here, they have additional storage. It's a great spot for spices or other items. When we drop down, you can see a bank of 3 drawers here. The bottom one being nice and deep for some of your larger items. Plus, you have a big drawer right down the very bottom. You can see that our sink top cutting board as well as drying rack are in there. And kind of in between that and the 3-burner cooktop is going to be not only our microwave, but that's also a convection oven and an air fryer all built into one, which is pretty great. Now, if you cook popcorn a little bit too long, you need to get the smell out of here. That's not a problem because you have a nice big 14-inch power vent fan right up top. You can open up some windows, turn that thing on, and you will feel the air quickly escape out of here. I also like this. Above the kitchen island, they put in a skylight. That's something a lot of manufacturers have gone away from, simply because of, the added cost element. But I really like it because it brings in a lot of natural light during the day. And I like a bright coach. And this one definitely nails that. Between all the windows and all the lights and the colors in here, it feels bright and open, especially with that taller ceiling height. Something else I really like, though, is to eat. And I have to make sure I have enough cold storage. And you definitely get that right here with this 16 cubic foot fridge freezer combo. This is massive, folks. This is huge to have in a travel trailer. 16 cubic foot. That's double what you would normally find in a travel trailer. And I think that's huge. Again, that's one of the things that complaints we commonly get in the industry is that there is just not enough refrigerator space. You don't have to worry about that here. You'll also see nice big pantry right over here to the side for all of your dry goods. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big coffee drinker. So I'm going to have my pot of coffee right here. My Keurig, maybe a spot for a French press or something over to the side. But you have an electrical outlet there. You have a spot for your mugs and everything else up here. Plus, right down underneath, you have a little bit of additional storage. And I also like that your fuse and breaker box is tucked away. I like the fact it's just not out in the open. Yes, it does take up a little bit of storage, but I'd much rather that than have it just out and visible. I think that is definitely the better option. Something else I do want to point out, if we take a look at the flooring, you'll see that, yes, we have flush floor slides, and they use the same lino all the way throughout in the slides too, so that it looks nice and uniform. And something else you'll notice is there aren't any registers in the floor, right? They're going to run them through the furniture. And the big advantage of that is that you don't have to worry about dirt and hair and everything else getting down in those registers. I know I've had a lot of customers that have complained about that, and they prefer to have them run through the furniture, which is exactly what Coleman has done here. The majority of your controls will be located right here. So you have your awning there, lights, slide outs, everything else. Another thing I do want to mention, by the way, AC. You do have roof mount AC. I would imagine in a coach like this, that's a given, but it does come with one. The bedroom is prepped for a second. So, if the coach this size, it may not be a bad idea to get a second one. It all just kind of depends on where you're camping. As we come into the bathroom here, of course, side aisle bath, something that Coleman does that I have never seen any other manufacturer do, but I love it, is the toilet. Not only is this a porcelain bowl, but it is going to be an elongated bowl. The fact it's elongated is something that we oftentimes see in homes, but never in RVs. And generally it's for space, right? Because manufacturers are trying to build bathrooms as small as possible. But what Coleman has done is they give you enough space to be able to move around and get changed, so be able to get out of the shower and put in that bigger bowl so that it is more comfortable, when I sit down on the toilet, so that I don't have as much of a mess when I'm peeing in the middle of the night. I really like an elongated bowl, and being porcelain, it's going to stay clean for a while. Take a look at the shower here. Man, oh man, I have so much space. Now again, not only do you have 6'10" ceiling height, but they also put a skylight in here. I mean, I'm 6 foot. You could easily be 6'3", maybe even 6'4", and still be able to stand in here without ducking down, which is amazing. So again, if you're a taller person looking for a good RV for a couple, this one is hitting all the marks. You'll see the Oxygenics shower head here too, which that does a great job. It doesn't use any more water, but it kind of sucks in air to create like a extra water pressure almost, so that it feels better. Plus you have a couple different adjustments on how you want the water to come out of that head too. You'll see a linen closet here over to the side, electrical outlet. This one does have an on-demand tankless water heater. You also see that you have some additional storage space here, spot for your toilet paper, enough room for a trash can, which I love, decent countertop space here too, and a stainless steel bowl, so nice upgrade. Right up above that is going to be the mirrored medicine cabinet. And again, if we take a look in here, you'll see that you don't have any floor vents, right? So if someone is, using the bathroom, you don't have to worry about any kind of mess on the floor there or going into a vent. And then as we come into the bedroom, again, fit for a king, right? You get a 70 by 80 king bed. So once again, I know I keep hitting this, but if you are taller, you are getting the full 80 inches of length on this king bed. It's not going to be a camper king. It's the full length, which I think is awesome. So few manufacturers do that, especially in a travel trailer, and Coleman has done it. On both sides, you will see your nightstands there. You also have electrical outlets as well as USB ports. Now, those electrical outlets are going to be pre-wired for an inverter. So if you decide to get the inverter, anytime you see a yellow sticker on the electrical outlet through this whole thing, which is the vast majority of them, they're pre-wired so that if you want to be able to use them, when you're off grid, again, you just need to have the inverter installed and they will function. On both sides, you can see wardrobe space there. So you have a little bit of space to hang clothes, some additional storage across the top. And then as we take a look here, just in case you need a little additional storage, they do give you this additional storage right here at the foot of the bed. Last couple things that I want to hit on. One is going to be right up top. You will see this vent, and this one is prepped and braced for a second AC, as we talked about. So if you want one, you can absolutely have one in there. You also have TV hookup right here. So if you want TV, you can mount that on the wall. The last thing I want to talk about is the storage underneath the king bed, because not only do we have the wardrobes plus at the foot of the bed, but we also have this amazing storage. So lift this up and you get this space, plus you have all this underneath. So if you have like laundry baskets, things like that, you can just shove them right under there. Let's take a look at the outside of the 2026 Coleman Legacy 2950 RL. Starting off right up front, this one does have a power tongue jack. Just makes it a lot easier to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Saves you the hassle of having to install one yourself as well. Behind that, albeit a little dirty, this is going to be your two 20-pound propane tanks with the cover. Thing I do like about this cover is that it is nice and easy to access the tanks. You simply unscrew these. You can lift them up and off. Same thing with the ones right up front here. Makes it easy to access both the tank valves as well as the switchover, depending on which way that is located. Right behind that is going to be rails for your battery. There's enough space for two batteries there, and you can see the 12-volt distribution box right back here that also has a battery disconnect built in, which is pretty wonderful. That way you don't have that slow drain on your battery when it's just kind of sitting around. Take a look up front on the Legacy. This one does come with a 3/4 front cap. Absolutely gorgeous. Has the LED lights inlaid in there as well. I think they did a great job. Very sharp looking cap. Kind of gives the illusion of having that front window without any chance for leaks. Coming around to the side, we get into the pass-through. You will see that this one does have a magnetic catch on here, covered hinge on there as well. And if we take a look inside, you can see that it is a nice big pass-through there. Nice tall storage here. We do have some hookups right here if you want an outside TV. You have the hookups for it right there in the pass-through, which is pretty great. Something not super common on travel trailers. Some manufacturers have it, but not all. Then the other side, we have a bunch of solar hookups and stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get to that other side. Now, on the Legacy series, this is going to be a laminated product. So that's definitely going to be a big advantage over some of the other Coleman products, just from an aesthetic standpoint. You also don't have to worry about dents or anything like that. If we drop down underneath, you can see that they have moved two power stabilizer jacks here on the Legacy. I think that was a great option. A lot of people just didn't really care for the manual ones, and I understand. Even though, they do work well, the power ones are just way simpler. Just touch a button, it does everything else for you. You also see that it has an outside propane hookup, so if you have a Blackstone or a Coleman grill, you can hook it up right there and be good to go. Honestly, any grill will work, but I just think that it's always a nice feature to have that nice and easily accessible on the camp side. To get in, we have the new Suburban steps. These are new to the industry. Kind of this year is when we really started seeing them, was moving into that 2026 model year. I don't care for the tread quite as much. It's like a composite, which, like a plastic rather than the aluminum. I do like the feel of the aluminum just a little bit more. But what I will say about the steps is they are far and above the easiest to set up. Where some of the, really inexpensive ones will have like a little lock here, like a little pin you have to push in, and it, peels off all your thumb skin. We're all familiar with those. The latest iterations, a lot of them will have a lever with certain set points, but with the Suburban here, it has like a ratcheting mechanism in the back. So, you set one leg up where you want it. The other one, you just kind of like that. Locks in, you're good to go. Now I can step on it, put all my weight on there. Everything is fine. So definitely the easiest to set up of all the steps. I do certainly appreciate that. You also get the larger grab handle right here, just to give you a little more control when entering or exiting the RV. If we pop up, I do want to point out the fact this one has dual awnings on here, so that you basically have entire coverage. Like this whole side is all great camp space, because not only do you have double awnings, but if you look, there aren't any vents on this side either, right? So even if it's cold and your furnace is running, or your water heater's running, you're not going to have that hot air blowing on you. You're not going to have to worry about your chair catching on fire. So this is great, great, great for that camp space. There's also those outside speakers I talked about that are tied to that multimedia center, and you get the glass door. Now, not only does this look really nice, but one of my favorite parts about it is because of the tint on the glass, there is a window here. A lot of manufacturers, try to save a little money and don't put a window in at all. But with the glass door, it does come with that one, but it's really kind of tough to see during the day because the tint, which I like, that is prepped for a thin shade. So if you want some privacy at night, you can have that installed. Something I would probably do, but again, that is completely your choice. So making our way back a little bit further, we can kind of come around to the back. You will see that you have your second control for your stab jacks right back here. Then on the very back, we have the square tubular bumper kind of in the back there. This does have enough space for a sewer hose, depending on the sewer hose you have. Some of the sewer hoses I like, the connections are actually too big to fit in there. But if you have like your standard run-of-the-mill sewer hose, it should fit. You will see that it does come with a spare tire as well. That's always a great peace of mind. Very easy to access here as well. Hopefully you never have to. But in the event of a blowout, you always want to have a spare. Taking a look up top, we have two preps. You can see right in the center is going to be the camera prep, the backup camera. So that's just a plug and play installation. If that's something you're interested in, we do have a great video on our Camping World Tutorials channel. Definitely check that out. It will show you how to install that. Over to the side is going to be ladder prep. You just need the Lippert ladder on the go, which is a telescoping ladder that connects to that, which will allow you to climb up onto the fully walkable roof. Whether it's for maintenance or just getting up there to hang out, that is how you do it. Coming around to the side, this one is going to have a 50 amp detachable power cord, 50 amp, because not only do we have that fireplace, but again, it is prepped for that second AC. So you are going to need 50 amps to be able to run both of those. And then you can see that you have your cable input right back there. As we make our way up to the front, a couple things I want to point out. You'll see you have some terminations that are going to be located right there. You also have your outside shower with hot and cold water access on this side, and all the way up front, a couple things. You're going to have your tankless water heater here, your fresh tank fill city water inlet, as well as a black tank flush to easily wash out the black tank. Now, we talked a little bit about solar. So right here is going to be all of your solar options. So this one does have solar panels up on the roof. You can see right there, you have your 30 amp controller. You have a battery disconnect just for the panels. And I talked about that inverter. As you can see, that is where the inverter prep is. So if you want that inverter, it is easy to install because everything is already pre-wired. Now, if you saw this one, you're like, Ian, I love this thing. How much is it? Where can I find it? There will be a link in the description with that information. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker. Until next time, we'll see you.